an individual, let me restart. A weak base for culture or an individual, culture only stands when the pressures are not too great. Romans made bridges over streams that could take animals, wagons, people, which have stood for these bridges have stood for 2 millennia. However, as how do you say his name? Schaefer. Thank you. As Schaefer says, if the modern truck were to drive over these bridges, they would break and crumble to pieces. It is the same with the lives and value systems of individuals and cultures. Cultures and freedoms of man are fragile, and with just the right amount of pressure, we break. Understand that I'm not saying that we can't handle pressure. However, I am saying that it's a fine line between the pressure culture and people can take and the breaking point. Because we need a strong base in order to withstand pressure, because we need a strong base in order to withstand pressure, and this base is not popularly found. I would like to use the Roman ages as an example, mainly because Roman law and politics have influenced our whole Western culture. Rome was great, but it had no real answers to basic problems that humanity faced. They just tried to build on their opinion, which failed, so they turned to their gods. Gods basically represented the hope of having something big enough upon which to rest their society. The problem with gods is that they basically amplified humanity and had no actual divinity. Thus, they didn't have anything big enough to relate their thinking in their lives. They had no value system strong enough to bear the strains of life, either individual or political. Then self-interest took the place of social interest, which brought corruption and war. Authoritarianism rules took place, which for a while they had inward and outward peace, but this didn't last very long, and eventually their rulers became seen as gods, became seen as gods, which was not a strong enough base to hold their society. On the other hand, at this time, there was the Christian side. The Christians actually had a strong base of which to base their society or their beliefs. The Christians were they believed that the Bible was the direct word of God and it was the ultimate truth. They were completely against all other religions and the cultures built on those religions. And this is why they weren't caught up in the relativistic Roman world. This was their base. And because of this strong base, they resisted pressure. Once again, the weak base only stands when pressures are low. Because Romans did not have the answers or the base, they fell into a thirst for violence and sexuality. In short, they fell into, and because of, humanism. The humanism is basically a man demanding to begin autonomously from himself and turning away from anything God might have to say. Humanism has not been able to provide, in the past, present, or future, a support strong enough for society that will still give us freedom. This is exactly where humanistic ideals take us. As long as pressures are low, it seems to be nice. But as pressures increase, this situation is entirely different. Our society is exactly like the Roman bridge. Pressures are increasing, and modern man, and if not careful, modern man will crush just like the